We are live with another Aitx video. Today we are going to talk about the CEO again. People are going after him, telling him, please stop diluting. It's actually very interesting. Probably not a good idea to have your own Discord and you're being a part of it as the CEO, because people are going to come after you and tell you, hey, stop increasing the outstanding shares. Stop increasing the authorized shares. What are you doing? Why do you keep diluting? For 3 years you've been diluting. Why? Stop it. But the pattern is clear. Dilution is what's keeping the press. The press? No, not the press. There's no press here. That's what's keeping the share price suppressed. Impatience, greed, time. Of course, he's going to deflect and probably blame everyone else, right? As he always does. Impatience, greed, time, expectation, all factors that are different for everyone. I'm very open about what we're doing. I'm about to record the weekly and we'll mention how LVT, our prime real competitor, just raised $50 million in a Series B for basically one product, and how Nightscope has raised over $125 million from retail for basically one product. We raise about $13 million a year for a complete suite of products. If I converted out to private and went to VCs, we'd have them lining up to throw us money. Well, that's no excuse for destroying shareholders. Come on. 3 years, we can look at the charts. We can look at the charts. We can look at the data and see very clearly that dilution has been, where is it? Right there. Dilution has been trending to the upside. Look at that. Look at that trend. Let's go to the 5 year. Oh boy, look at that trend. Look at that trend in dilution. Guess what? Since 2021, the dilution has gone from 2.57 to 11.16 billion. You look at the chart and what do you guys see? You see the complete opposite kind of price action. It just continues to come down lower and lower. Unfortunately, this doesn't go back as far as 3 years for some reason. So that's kind of like the downside of Moo, but it's been doing the opposite. It's almost like dilution. I don't know. It seems like there's a correlation there. One is going up, the other one is going down. Maybe that will change once the dilution stops, which I doubt it's going to happen. Not with that huge net negative working capital. The issue lies in pouring money into a stock that keeps declining due to ongoing dilution. If I were to a venture capitalist that insist on an anti-dilution clause and a seat on the board, there's a big difference. Damn, this guy's going in. He's going in. He's like, hey. Well, yeah, only the stupid people were averaging down as it kept going lower and lower. I don't know why a lot of people back in 2021 thought, oh my God, this is going to go to dollars. I'm going to buy here at 25 cents because that's cheap. They kind of fell for the GME trap. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The GME trap. They fell for the GameStop trap, which is they look at GME. There's fools that chased it at 64. They chased it at 60 plus. I mean, look at this huge candle here. Look at that. They chased it above $50 and held that bag because they thought, oh my God, this is it. This is going to be the next Roaring Kitties bag. This is going to be the next 300 bagger, 1,000 bagger. We're going to go to 1,000. We're going to go 300, 600. Here we go. This is it. And now they're holding the bag and averaging down more than likely. Whereas if you guys have been watching my GME videos recently, I bought down here at $20 and now I'm up on that position. Because this is the bottom down here, and I always tell you guys, abuse the bottom. Abuse. The market will abuse you. Why won't you abuse it and buy where it makes sense at the bottom down here at 20 and sit on it? Now I'm up on it. I mean, if this gaps up, fantastic. I'm here to make money. But people fall for this trap of, oh my God, this is so cheap at 50 or 60 because this is gonna go to thousands. And so people with AITX and many other penny stocks, they thought the same thing. Oh my God, this is going to go to dollars. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to buy at 25 cents, 20 cents, 10 cents, 5 cents, and so on and so forth. And now we're at double zeros. People aren't that bright is really what I learned the past 3 years. What I've learned is people aren't very smart in the markets. Surprisingly, you would think they would adapt and do better. You would think in 3 years they would get I don't know. It's like they don't have the ability to adapt. Adaptation is probably like the biggest asset you can have as a human, because it can take you you'll get good at anything because you make the adaptations. And these people just, I don't know, I guess they're holding such a big bag, they have in their mind they have no choice. Let me just continue to add to my bag. Anti-dilution clause wouldn't work because this company needs to keep diluting. If they did an anti-dilution clause, they would have to They would just, you know what's funny about this? This is so stupid. I'd insist on an anti-dilution clause. The problem with that is they they would just probably do the math. They would do the math and project how much they would have to dilute ahead of time for the year, and then just do a huge amount of dilution right on the spot. Like if they actually did an anti-dilution clause, they would probably dilute a ton, hundreds of millions, if not billions, right on the spot, and then do the clause. Which might be preferable, honestly. Just get it out of the way. Do your 2 billion dilution or 5 billion dilution that you do every year. Get it out of the way now, and then that way the stock can trade clean for the rest of the year. And I'm sure they can do the math and project how much they're going to need to dilute, anyways, based on every year. I mean, every year they dilute what does it come down to? Like 1.5 billion plus? Probably more than that. Another thing, yeah, like 3 billion, depending on the year, like 2 to 3 billion. But some years 5 billion in dilution. So that's why their authorized shares are going to have to increase anyways to 20 billion, is what I imagine. But in order for an anti-dilution clause to exist, they would have to dilute just a ton. One day, just sorry guys, we're going to dilute everything we would normally dilute over the course of the year in one day, and this is going to hurt. But hey, for the rest of the year, we'll trade clean like that. I don't see this anti-dilution thing happening. Shaking my head. Of course, he's gonna shake his head. That's why. Here's this guy. This guy's a Steve Nobler, if you know what I'm saying. That's why I'm invested here. I'm not invested in another security tech company. What? This is a security and tech company. What are you talking about? This guy's one of those guys that thinks my stock is so special. It's so special. It's gonna be the one. Really don't care about them. This is a unicorn. Everyone loses patience from time to time. But that's just the life we live in. That's the life you live, weirdo. It is always good to look at a situation and think, will it matter 5 years from now? Enjoy your moments. Bro, it's going to be 5 years from now in 2020. In 2026, by the way, because in 2021 is when everything had a huge run. It's going to be 5 years from now, and this guy's still going to be saying the same thing because he's, not very bright. These people don't. It's like, where's your brain? Again, this is simply incorrect. Additional shares coming into the market or just below market price does not 100% account for declining stock price. Sorry, it doesn't. Is this guy? Who is the? How are you the CEO and you don't understand? Adding additional shares does maybe not 100%, but it does account for the majority of declining stock price because people hate dilution. People hate dilution. People see dilution. They're like, okay, I'm out. I'm just not dealing with this anymore. I'm not dealing with stock diluting on my head. So I'm just gonna get out. It absolutely has an effect. Same thing with a reverse split. You announce a reverse split, people will get out. It'll dump you even faster than some additional shares being added. It's not so much the additional shares being added. It's the reaction to it. That's what this guy doesn't get. It's the reaction to the additional shares being added. It's not so much the additional shares. It's not like you add the shares and people go, and the stock just dumps. It's people's reaction to it. They see the shares and they're like, oh, this guy just added 200 million in less than a week. I'm just gonna get out because who knows what they're gonna do next. Like that's just how it is. People react. I mean, the people in this Discord, they're not gonna do anything other than continue to average down. They're not gonna sell at a loss, clearly. So I'm not talking about the people in here. I'm talking about the people that are smarter, that dump first and ask questions later. So it's the reaction to the additional shares being added, especially that much, 200 million in literally less than 10 days. That's insane. Sure, everyone wants to look at that as the culprit, but it's myopic and incorrect to think so. Well, because he said not 100% accounting for the declining share price. Okay, I can agree with this, but it still has an effect. It still has an effect. No matter how you phrase it, it still will have an effect because people will react. A lot of factors at work. Anyway, I will be laying things down in the weekly video, and now I add some perspective. That comes out literally in 1 minute. That's why I'm making this video now. I woke up early. I'm like, let's see this 1 minute video. Same here. I'm 73 and I have more patience than the young ones. I'm 31 and I have more patience than everyone. It seems people don't have patience. If you have patience and discipline and you buy good companies at cheap prices, you will make money. Like that's what the stock market rewards. Unfortunately, this guy bought garbage penny stock at cheap prices. We'll see if it works out for him. Because if the stock reverse splits, oh boy. 73, bro, you're about to croak. No offense. You would croak. I'm gonna have to hit you with some raid, bro. Okay, anyways, jokes aside, you would lose your percent share in the company if you were to go private. You must be a doctor with those patients. I know I'm late here and it's been discussed, but I am, in my opinion, certainly it's the uncertainty of when the faucet of dilution will be stopped. It's never gonna stop. The faucet, I love it. That's a great way to put it. The faucet. The company generate. This guy makes a good point. You and ATX have more followers than ever. The company is generating more revenue than ever. You have rising interest and rising revenue. Even you have acknowledged that shorting on the OTC is pretty non-existent. You are consistently adamant that it is not dilution. I would love to hear what do you think is the cause of the declining share price. Oh no, that guy's not, he's not going to respond. The reality is it's the dilution. That's the one thing that's constant with this. What's the one thing, guys? You know what's funny? What is the one thing that's constant, guys, with the ATX? What's the one thing that's constant? No, it's not constantly reverse splitting. We know what happens if a stock constantly reverse splits. Just look at Mullen stock. Just look at Mullen stock. What happens when a stock constantly reverse splits? Let's look at this. Mullen stock. How many times has it reverse split? It's already. I think it did one for 100 recently, right? Look at that. Three reverse splits already in such a short amount of time. Does this show that? Yeah, underwent a total of 5 stock splits. Yeah. You know what happens to stocks like these? They just continue to go down. Lower and lower and lower and lower. Guess what? Seems to me like there's a correlation between dilution happening constantly every year and the stock price constantly dropping. Sounds like this guy also believes the root cause of long-term stock decline is derived from stock sales. I mean, it's not hard to narrow in on. Most of us accept it and know about it. It's public. Fortunately, though, Steve's great work, it's almost over. It's almost over. The fools really believe that. It's a penny stock. What makes you think the dilution is it's just gonna up and disappear? Unless they come out with an anti-dilution clause, which who's ever heard of that? Anyways, they're public for a reason. Dilution doesn't. There's companies in the higher exchange that still dilute considerably. Actually, every now and then. Come on. I've already lost share, and I'll list considerably lose. I assume he meant lose. I'll lose considerably more as we move to Nasdaq. It's part of the process. Oh no, poor you, poor CEO, gonna lose percentage. Oh no, oh no. Whatever will he do with his millions? Ridiculous. Understand that the question is speculative, and so my answer is not definitive. It's speculative as well. Factors are fewer buyers than sellers, which is why I ask perks to spread the word. I assume he means people, his followers. He wants us to do the marketing for him. That's what that means. He wants us to do the job for him. Get out of here. Factors are fewer buyers than sellers. Ooh, that's what a mind blowing. Wow. We would never have known. Maker. Does this guy know how to spell? Makers. Market makers making 10K here and there through 1 minute settling shorts. There are a couple of MMs that can do this. Retail absolutely cannot. FUD bashers driving people to cash out at a loss. Who listens to FUD and bashers? There probably are people. Let's be real. Weekly video has been laid down. We'll provide some important perspective. I think that has been minimized in this room. Let's go for it. Think big because others are. He just deflected. He did not even answer. Whatever. You're mistaken if you believe that 3 years of dilution has no effect on the share price. Absolutely. The guy does not know what he's talking about. I'm not mistaken. You may be mistaken that the market cap and price per share 3 years had a basis in reality or a basis in meme stock. Okay, this guy. You see this, guys? It's actually like Steve Reinhardt's even. What kind of CEO is this? Like I showed you the charts just now. Dilution has been trending to the upside since 2021. It started spiking to the upside, and since 2021, after the run was over, it's been trending to the downside. Like, and in the future, if dilution just starts to trend downward, which would mean that doesn't even matter. It's not so much that dilution needs to trend downward. What we need to see is share buybacks. So if share buybacks happen in the future, and if they start doing share buybacks equal to the amount of shares they were diluting, so instead of diluting 333 million every month, they buy back 333 million shares every month. If they start doing that, do you think that will have an effect on the share price? Let me ask you that. For those of you watching this, do you believe if AITX did the opposite, started buying back shares, 333 million on average every month, do you think that would have a positive effect on the share price? Do you think I don't know, I think it would, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe share buybacks don't have a positive effect. Maybe they cause the stock to continue dumping for more years and years to come. I highly doubt it though. I imagine if they start doing, yeah, you start bringing that outstanding shares and authorized shares down. Maybe the stock starts looking a little more juicy with 1 billion shares instead of 20 billion outstanding shares. I don't know. I think it would have a net positive effect if he started buying back shares. So think about it from the other side. If he started buying back shares at 333 million every month, wouldn't that have a net positive effect on the stock price? Let me ask you that, friends. Let me know what you think in the comments below if he did that. Whoa, look at this guy. When will you stop adding shares? Steve Reinhardt. When I bought AITX shares, I remember total shares were about 5.6 billion shares. Now it's 11.2 or more. So the value of my shares went down 50%. I am right here, Steve. Ouch. He's calling him out. He's calling him out, and I love it. This is what more people need to do. None of that, knob slobbing that most of them in here do. I never want to be the one calling out the CEO. I always let other people do it first, and then I jump in. Because if it, or else it just comes off like I'm attacking. So let other people do it first and then jump in is what I like to do. Yes, I agree that Steve. There must be. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at this guy, Marauder guy. Yes, I agree with that, Steve. There must be some sort of an online attack on AITX. Stock Twits, Reddit, and other platforms have like 50 plus people working overtime to the delivery. Get out of here. There's really no other explanation as to the. Sure. So this guy's slapping on him right now. This guy is literally slapping on the CEO and going, no, no, no. Steve is right. There must be some other reason. No, there's just buying and selling and dilution and a lot of it. Sales have gone up. Radcam is sales have gone up over the years. Guess what? This dilution has gone up too. Radcam is around the corner, and our 2025 and 2026 plan and expectations are through the roof. Yeah, it doesn't mean you're gonna make money. Keep going, AITX team. Also, a YouTuber that is against the interest of AITX shareholders. I assume he's talking about the one that keeps making negative videos about AITX. When I first invested, I was impressed by the story behind AITX and my belief in you. I mentioned before that I wouldn't invest in a company facing a high outstanding shares or severe dilution. That was before we found ourselves in our current situation. You need to understand my perspective. Would you have made the same decision if you were holding in your holdings, if your holdings were at risk of being diluted significantly? Well, probably. Well, Steve is kind of like as much as ever as an investor, not as a CEO, but Steve as an investor or as a trader, he's kind of a he's pretty much as green as the guys in the ATX Discord. You know what I'm saying? To put it nicely. Like, not as a CEO. I'm just saying Steve as a trader, as an investor, he probably would buy a bad stock because he's pretty much like just because he's a CEO doesn't mean he's a good investor or trader. Let me put it that way. Once the company can pay its bills without dilution, the share price will uptick considerably. That's how this works. People are going to bash dilution, but it is needed at the moment. Surprise, surprise. We didn't know that already. So I imagine if they bought back shares at 333 million a month, it would have a net positive effect on the share price, right? I think that's the end of it, guys. I don't see anything else here worth talking about. I agree. Yeah, of course this guy's gonna agree with Steve Reinhardt. I agree with Steve 99% of the time, but not in this case. The dilution is very obviously the reason for the continuous. Oh, my bad. I apologize, Ranger Jeff. I agree with you. This guy agrees with Steve 99% of the time, but not in this case. The dilution is very obviously the reason for the continual stock price decline. You can just look at the most recent one to 1 cent when they couldn't dilute due to the technicalities. Steve said it himself the reason is fewer buyers than sellers. Well, that is because there's a huge seller selling hundreds of millions of shares each month. Oh, this guy. Look at this guy. Dilution always hurts the stock price short term. Sure, you might find one or two times when the stock price went up on dilution days, but imagine what the price increase would have been without the dilution. So in that sense, it still hurts the share price. As soon as we are done, we will move, in my opinion. And he makes a great point. Some people here, I love that people are calling him out now, because the Aitx Discord, they would ban you back then. They're kind of like the Aitx Discord. If you don't say positive things, they get on your case and start telling you like, oh no, we don't want to hear it, banned. And look at this. I'm not even gonna hold back on this guy. Look at this cock knobbler over here. Mary Nojo. There were a lot of PRs the same time the OS went up. But hey, not a better time to have them, right? Right? Okay, is that it? Please tell me that's it. Okay, that's it. All right, guys. So there you go. That is one hell of a CEO, one hell of an AITX Discord. Um, you guys, I love that you guys are going after AITX here, especially the CEO, going after him and letting him know, like, hey, like, when is this gonna stop? That's a lot of dilution, billions every year, billions, by the way, with a B. And like, at one point, does the CEO look at this and go, okay, it's been 3 years without a net positive return for investors. They've been getting destroyed. Look at this. Look at this. I'll show it to you one more time before I let you guys go. Look at this. 2020. Wow, look at that. August 31st, 2020. AITX outstanding shares 530 million. That is the kind of share structure you need to have a huge run to 25 cents. And guess what? The stock did do that back then. I wonder when Steve Reinhardt took control of the company. Steve Reinhardt, when did he become CEO of AITX? Steve Reinhardt, who moved his tech company from California to Detroit in 2021, had an aha moment. I knew someone was going to create this business and I couldn't let it go. It was going to be us. That's where I drew my strength. Didn't he start in 2021? I believe he came into AITX in 2021. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe what I should be saying is what they're doing is he started coming into it. He started diluting it really heavily once he started stepping up. I think that's what happened. Let me ask ChatGPT because ChatGPT might know. Uh, Steve Reinhardt of AITX. When did he become the CEO? Maybe she'll know because she'll do the googling for me. Steve Reinhardt became the CEO of AITX in 2020. In 2020, so in 2020 he became the CEO. Look at the share structure. Just as soon as he took control, boom. Oh, here's 2020. The share structure was actually pretty incredible, under 1 billion back in 2020. But as soon as he stepped in 2020, according to ChatGPT, maybe she's wrong, maybe she's wrong, but this is what she's telling me. Became the CEO of ATX in 2020. So if that's true, then this guy has just the moment this guy became CEO, he's been destroying the outstanding the share count. He's just been destroying it. Look at that, from under a billion to 11.16 billion now. He started diluting billions, by the way. Like the moment he came into quote unquote office, he look at that 2.57 billion. What a jump from 2020 to 2021. 2 billion shares diluted, then another 2 billion, then another billion and a half. Here that he diluted like 3 billion. Yeah, 3 billion. He wanted to make up for the 1.5 billion from last year, I guess, and then another 3 billion so far this year, and possibly more. And he has the balls to tell me and tell investors that the dilution is trending to the downside. Like, sir, that's I this is the data right here. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? There's 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 no trend to the downside here. And that's it for the video. I just wanted to show you guys that. Like, you take what you want from this, but ultimately we're gonna make our money on the swing trading portion side of things. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.